Finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job I answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbon night's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free, yeah. Told me get myself together, now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather, better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy, the carbon night is gone. I'm moving on, I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. Around my eyes, I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. Picking up my blaster, putting it on my side. I'm jumping in my Falcon, Wookiee at my side. I'm solo, I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. Now I'm feeling how I should join the alliance, it feels so good. Oh, stop feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so fly time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Told me get my act together, now I got my act together. Yeah, now I made it through the weather, better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy, the carbon night is gone. I'm moving on, I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. Around my eyes, I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. Picking up my blaster, putting it on my side. I'm jumping in my Falcon, Wookiee at my side. I'm solo, I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo.
Well, welcome everyone. We lost our slideshow, but we are welcome. We have 6 people on when we first come on, which has to be a record for us. But this is the night everyone awards season has started. We're kicking it off. We're trying to help the Oscars. We're kicking it off with the Golden TaunTauns, and we have to make sure we say that right so we come across as a family-friendly show. But let me get our Golden TaunTauns logo up here.
Well, it's kind of funny. This is the first year of doing this, and we're not competing with the Academy Award that's been going on since, 96 years. So it is a pretty exciting thing for us. That is for sure.
We did make sure that we weren't on the same night. We didn't want to lose their share of people watching.
Well, then we had to rent the building. That was
yes, we had to rent the building, and this is so for those when we have you can play at home. So if you're watching this live, you better hurry up. Go to GoldenTaunTaun.com. You can download a paper and put your guesses in now if you don't have it already. I'm sure most people have them already downloaded. And this is for the 2023 year. So if you happen to be listening and you wonder why certain guests might be missed but they might have been here in 2024. Okay, I just wanted to put that disclaimer out because I didn't want Magic Jump to think we forgot about him. So
well, and we also want to make sure that that folks realize that we are talking about content from last year, and not 2024 like a bunch of crazy people.
Right, because it's a lot of behind the scenes work. But you have to tabulate all this. We have scientific measures to make sure that the right person wins. We have to try to reach to people, see if they want to be a guest. And so it's just a lot of work. And it takes up until now to get it done.
And
Yeah.
we've even decided to go eco-friendly. So instead of
Yes.
having, envelopes and ballots, we're gonna, just display it electronically. We're doing our best to save the environment for
Yeah.
future generations.
Yes.
We're saving the
yes.
planet here.
Yes.
Yes. So those that are here, chime in. We have the chat window open. If your chat's not coming through, one of us should monitor Facebook, because if for some reason the Facebook chats don't come through, but the YouTube chats should come through. So if you're watching us on YouTube, throw something up, see if a comment. We're going to start here in just a second. Just let everyone get their popcorn, and we have to make sure, all of our stuff is in line. But so before we start, Ken, why don't you give an introduction for maybe we have some new fans watching?
Yeah. That's a great idea. So this is the Inflatable Falcon. We get together every Wednesday night. And when I'm not on this show, I'm participating in the Rambling Star Wars Fan, another podcast connected to the unifying Star Wars fandom network. And how about you, John?
Well, also when I'm not here, you can find me keeping the bar down on lock over at the Beskar Bucket, telling great stories, sharing great experience with all the different creators in the Star Wars world. Mike, how about you?
Well, I'm usually doing this and helping Zoe do Star Wars Geek Girl podcast. And I have CreatorCast, which I'm, throwing around, doing all that. And I do want to give a shout out to John for all the hard work on all the graphics you see tonight. If you're on any of my social media feeds and you're just getting inundated with all that, he made all the graphics for this. So thanks to John. Ken, again, is our I want to say whip smart. Is that a good word? He's our whip smart Star Wars fan that makes us remember all the stuff we forgot.
Yeah, because I don't think I could be the key grip tonight, and I definitely don't have a boom boom mic long enough to reach out to Ohio. So I'll stay with Whip Smart host.
Right.
That's fine.
And I just assume I'm just the guy who had the keys to the inflatable Falcon. It's just, like there's that one guy. You're like, why is he here? Well, he could drive stick, So, but so we're going to get started here soon. Josh is already kicked in, our future wrecker. And he's saying we look dapper. Thank you. We made Ken go change. He was gonna. He had a really good shirt, but I think it's the first time I've ever been overdressed. So
it wasn't up to snuff for the Golden TaunTaun. So I'm glad you guys talked me into getting a little bit fancier for this evening. And I say thanks to Josh for noticing.
and listen, it is. Josh has pointed this out before that is our NPR. Gravitas that Ken brings to our show. He probably has his pink shorts on, but we were trying to keep this a family friendly show. So
of course, yeah, we can't just be having that.
We're gonna keep this spoiler free, but Josh, stick around.
But ladies,
I'll say.
If you want Ken to mail you some pink shorts, we can probably.
It's a different show. That's not this show. Listen, no. No, Ken is not mailing shorts to anybody, no matter how much money you want to send me for them.
Well, you could get that kind of armor. That armor's not going to make itself.
That's right.
No, I'm not going to buy a 3D printer with.
Well, I don't know.
With short money.
With short money.
So before we start, I got one quick shout out. Kevin, who gentleman I work with, he works at the high school. He got approved in his TK for a level 2 TK today, which anyone that's building a TK knows level 1 is good, but the level 2 is it's really almost close to Centurion. So congratulations, Kevin. I don't know if Kevin's watching, but congratulations on that.
Well, he can always watch us in reruns.
Yeah. So anyway, so let's begin. The Golden TaunTaun. We don't have any music. I'm sorry, we don't have any music. We'll work on that for next year.
We'll add it in post.
Yeah, we'll put in. Well, wait a minute. We do have music. Let's see. Is
it not the Inflatable Falcon if we're not doing things live?
Yeah, I don't know if that one's lively enough for us, but
yeah, I don't.
It was a good effort.
I tried. They have.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know what some of this stuff is. Anyway, yes, but here we go. let's get started on the Golden TaunTauns. Let's look at our first category. If you're playing at home, I'm not sure if it's the same order on your sheet. You might have to double check.
We want to make sure you're paying attention.
So John's in charge of the slideshow because I would mess it up. But the best collectible, because all of us here at the Golden TaunTaun, at the Inflatable Falcon, are somewhat collectors, and so we looked at this. The Trapper Wolf helmet was one that was like a hard, no one wanted Trapper Wolf until it was at Ollie's. Am I correct?
Well, people wanted it. They definitely wanted it, but it wasn't as trendy until it made it to Ollie's for $30 each.
Yeah, so I like the helmet, I have it, but and then the Ghost, that was another for those that are in Hasbro Pulse. That was an expensive, huge ship. How much was the price?
Too much.
$4.99.
I don't know. Yeah, whatever it was
up there.
But that was a beautiful ship if you're a figure collector and you have a whole entire extra room in your house that you could sit that in. Yes, and John is wearing a tie. John always does above and beyond.
Going the extra mile, that guy.
And then the N4 Starfighter, again, that was Mando's ship. That was not a Hasbro Pulse though, right? That was just to buy it
fresh in the wild.
Try to find it. I never thought in 2024 we would all want a Naboo fighter. If you would have think back, no one wanted the Naboo fighters. They're like, they're all right. But yeah. And then
that was the fancy Naboo fighter. That was the one where it had a seat for Grogu, and from what I remember, if I have my stuff correct, that you could take that out and make it a droid socket as well. So it could almost like a transformer.
Now remember in the books, the droid's head actually gets ripped off and moved up into there when they go in that droid socket. In one of those cutaway books or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and then the last was the inflatable, which I don't know if this falls under collectibles for most people, but I think at least everyone in our crew, if we had the opportunity to somehow get an inflatable Falcon, we would get an inflatable Falcon.
Well, you were talking about, with the Ghost, how you need an extra room. With the inflatable Falcon, you'll need an addition, because when we were talking with Jose about it, he mentioned to us that it's the size of a basketball court, I thought.
Yes.
Or half a basketball court.
Half a basketball court. Yeah, so you need a half a basketball court if you want to sit it inside. And remember, it was like 1,000 pounds or
1,200 pounds. Yep.
1,200 pounds. Yep. So I could maybe roll it in the minivan, but I don't think my car, if I have 4 people riding in it, it slows down. So I can't imagine putting 1,200 pounds in a 2006 Scion XB. I don't think it would make. And I know John's Corvette, we could barely get Kylo and a couple helmets in that thing.
Yep. Yeah, we were shocked. I think the inflatable Falcon might be.
Yeah, might be
But I was already looking for an excuse to put a basketball court in, so I can just put a full basketball court in, get half a court and an inflatable Falcon.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're talking.
I will say, under the tiny home movement, if you had a piece of land and you had to have a tiny home, why not just live in an inflatable Falcon?
The winters might get a little cold.
And Josh has a pickup truck.
He can help us out. We have fan support.
Yeah. So that's our first one. Let's see. Should we tell them who won?
Please.
I think so.
Okay. So here, wait a minute. Look, I know we were spitting paper, but look, I had paper here to give us the effect. I'm tearing open the envelope.
Killing the planet.
No. Okay. Whatever. The Inflatable Falcon won. Okay. We are the Inflatable Falcon podcast. If anyone was playing at home and picked any of the other ones, I'm not sure why. Do you even know who we are? Okay.
Right.
And after meeting Jose, which again is 2024, so I don't want them to. After meeting Jose and talking about the company, I like Hasbro and all that, but talking to the inflatable company of Magic Jump, it makes it, I know it's expensive, and I don't think I'm going to be able to afford one anytime soon. But it does seem that collectible or that inflatable thing is built by someone who cares at least something about the thing.
Well, I would go so far as to say that the interview with Jose, when it comes to, collectibles, that conversation helped the inflatable Falcon jump to the top of the list.
Yes, definitely. Yes. And when it talked about, like I said, with the company, they made them all there. And he knew, like, we watched that inflatable Falcon video a lot. And now I put it into our running cycle of our beginning of our show. There are some details on that would be good Easter eggs in any movie. Like I still think of that. They put that weird shaped bed in the middle there. Like, right, and I'm like, that is paying attention to detail.
Well, and just the unnecessary bits. It's perfectly Star Wars with unnecessary bits. I mean, do you really need to have an inflatable dejeric table? You don't need it, but it makes perfect sense.
Right. Well, where's
Nice
the
thing to
Wookiee
have.
going to sit when he's tearing your arms off?
Of course, yeah. No, you can definitely tell that it was constructed with a lot of care and passion. Just with all of the attention to detail is 11 out of 10.
Yes. And we probably should say out loud to all of our winners that this is an honorary award, and we will not actually be sending you an inflatable Falcon or a Golden TaunTaun.
Yeah. But I mean, if the show gets bigger, we could eventually move into that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
planning
not
ahead.
Yeah. I mean, we're just lucky. We started on time. So if you are playing at home and you have we started at exactly 8:45. Now I know that our intro's long, but that means if you played Price is Right rules, if you went over, you missed out on the points for that play at home. So, just in case. And I know when I say Price is Right rules, that basically says I'm old because I don't think kids sit home and watch Price is Right anymore. But that's what we did on sick days. Okay. So, all right. Who's up next?
Up next is going to be the best new prop.
Oh, fantastic. That's my category, I think.
Was it? I thought it was.
Let's see. And that is, wait a minute, new prop, presenter Ken.
Oh.
Yeah.
Out of order. Whoops.
So I'm new to this award show thing, so I'm gonna channel my best host Kristen Baver and see what I can do with this. So
anyone counting, that's one. Anyone counting at home.
So for 2023, our list of best new prop nominees are the Peridia star map from the Ahsoka show. That was that fancy globe that Ahsoka went on a mission to find and ended up becoming the key that initiated that travel, that trip to Peridia, where we came into contact with Grand Admiral Thrawn and Ezra Bridger. So that's the first item on our list tonight. Second item are the training gauntlets from The Mandalorian. Those cutesy little training gauntlets that the Mando kids wore and Grogu wore when they were practicing on that beach next to that pretty pristine lake. The third item on our list is the Mandalore glass shard, that chunk of crystal that came from Mandalore, the planet Mandalore. In fact, I happen to have one. Hold on one second. I have it right here.
Well, very nice.
The glass shard. And then the fourth item on our list tonight is Ezra Bridger's lightsaber. Any comments on the four items on our?
Well, yeah, I have a question, Ken. It feels don't you feel bad for robbing the Mandalorians of the resources from their home planet? Come on.
Well, it was gifted.
Oh, okay.
It was gifted to me.
No, I mean, I these were hard. I mean, the gauntlets alone. When I saw those gauntlets for the first time, I was like, aren't they coming out? Shouldn't they have come out with like a Nerf set of those? Or a laser tag. Like that was like an opportunity lost. They could have been the best new prop, and they could have been in our best collectible at the same time.
definitely a missed opportunity there.
Yeah.
I will say though, the Peridia star map, that was one of my favorites this year because it feels ancient but so into the universe that it fits so perfectly as that kind of MacGuffin for the first half of the show.
Yeah, and as a prop guy, I was thinking, what if I was trying to think like, what if I print that in clear filament, and then tape off those lines and put an LED in the middle and paint it. I was trying to think of all the different ways to like make that glowing star map. Yeah, that was definitely.
Well, and with that, I thought, I could be wrong, but I thought there was a connection between that star map and the Jedi Fallen Order game.
Oh, maybe we'd have to call
That
Zoe on.
Zepho kind of thing where you had to, go around and collect these items. I thought, I could be completely mistaken because I'm known to being wrong.
Well, and now looking at the categories, that would be everything on that category would be a perfect collector's shelf. Like picture behind me, if I just made one little shelf and I put those 4 things on it, that would almost be like a perfect 2023 collector's, like knick-knack shelf or whatever you want to call it. Like I picture the saber laying there with the star map and the little shard with the little gauntlets. Oh man, that's like a.
So instead of Humbles or Funko Pops, you could have all those things.
Yeah.
And so let's see which of these props was chosen as best new prop of 2023.
Yeah, General Veers thinks it's going to be the star map.
That was a great guess, General Veers, but we chose Ezra's lightsaber.
Yeah, I think this one it has so much more meaning behind it when he puts Kanan's style of emitter onto the lightsaber. That one hits right in the feels. So,
well, and with that one, it was I think that may have been only the second time on screen in a live action that we saw someone making a lightsaber, right?
What was the first one?
It was in the deleted scene for Return
of
the Jedi.
Okay. Because I was like, I was trying to think. Wait a minute, but you're probably right.
I'm just trying to do my best to be that whip smart host that you were talking about earlier.
Well, and you know what it reminded me of when he was building it? The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where the ugly, I forget his name now, goes into the gun shop at the beginning, and he tears out all these pistols, and he takes the best pieces and builds one pistol. Anyone remember that?
Yeah, of course.
And John, you got to watch it. Watch good. If you need, it's
yes, you should watch all 3 of them because it was a fistful of dollars,
a few dollars more,
and yeah, you should watch all 3 of them.
Yeah. If you have they're like 8 hours long or something like that. No, but
and to get into territory that I love getting into, the inspirations behind the stories. Cad Bane is actually inspired by one of the characters from
Lee Van Cleef.
Yep.
Yeah, Lee Van Cleef in. Which one was that? What he was? That was the bad guy in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly because he basically dressed the same.
Yep, the wide brim hat and everything like that.
Yeah. So I again the Ezra lightsaber when I saw that. All of those again, especially now today. I think because a lot of times when we were working on the show, it was after we had podcast for a while. But when looking at them all on that nice thing that John made, looking at them, that was to me, my opinion, it just seemed like a perfect like encapsulation of just the little knickknacks in Star Wars that are so great, And Josh says on his play at home, he's at 2 for 2 so far.
Well done, Josh.
We have several more categories, so let's see how well you do.
Yeah. Moving forward, the next thing on our list here is going to be the best droid. Now, there were a lot of good droids from all of the shows that came out this year, but we painstakingly narrowed it down to 4, being RJ-83 from the Young Jedi Adventures, Professor Huyang from Ahsoka, the HK-87 Assassin droids, also from Ahsoka, and Chopper from Ahsoka. A little Ahsoka heavy in this.
Yeah, it is Ahsoka
category,
heavy.
but
You could also say though they're also in the animated stuff as well. I mean, all four of them have been in. I mean,
Right.
RJ is only animated, but all the others have been in animation as well.
right.
Well, and I think Ahsoka was new droid heavy compared to like the Mandalorian season 3. And what else was what else do we see?
Well, there
this
was the one episode of Mandalorian where they actually went to the droid bar.
That's true.
you know.
That's true.
But here's where this is where the I guess the subtle nuance comes in is the new part, I guess. The best new droid. Maybe that's what it is. And I could be
Yeah.
wrong. I gotta check to see what the notes from the Academy say.
Yes, but I think it was just best droid we saw on screen this year because I mean we've seen them before, like the assassin droids. When I think was that who she was fighting at the
temple where she got the star map.
Yeah, and that just was like such a good intro to her character, especially if people hadn't seen her before. I mean, I doubt anyone that watched Ahsoka had never seen her, but there's still a lot of people that kind of shy away from the animation, and they probably saw very little of her. And I thought that was a good intro to her.
And for me, the RJ droid was, I love the fact that Star Wars is now deliberately and specifically going beyond just kids and going to younger kids to encourage them to be creative, be kind, and to have fun with Star Wars. So that the Young Jedi Adventures, that new show that came out in 2023, it's full of cuteness. And that droid, which has the body of it's kind of like a BB-8 dome, and little spindly legs. It's an adorable robot.
Yes. And Hu Yang, I watched Mr. O'Brien building his automated Hu Yang because all of his makers out there. There are beautiful files from Droid Division where you can print, Hu Yang and throw some servos in it. He's just such an elegant droid in that regard. And then Chopper, that's my favorite mass murderer.
Yeah, it's nice to see Chopper get a true live action depiction as opposed to the small cameo we got in Rogue One.
The drive-by.
Well, and I like this throw. I like the way he threw. Like they kept it like the comic book. Like it would have been so easy to have him shoot something out, instead of just like flinging it with his arm.
Yeah.
So.
And I think if my memory serves me right, it still uses Dave Filoni's voice for him.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the Chopper. If you ever get to go to a droid event where there's droid builders that have Chopper, man, Chopper he's just as fun to see in person as he is to see on the screen.
Do you think we'll be lucky enough to see one at Fan Expo Philly this year?
I hope so. I mean, we got to talk to Dave because Dave has a Chopper, I believe.
Okay.
I think he has a Chopper, and I know there's a couple Choppers down near Philly. So, I hope we do. Little plug, Fan Expo. Some of us may be at Fan Expo doing a panel. We don't know because it takes them forever to let us know, but it's good on them.
Hopefully we know soon. But I think what we will know soon enough is who is going to be the best droid and who's going to be taking home that Golden TaunTaun.
Well, all right. Who gets it? Who are we sending it to? In theory only.
Of course, it has to be Professor Hu Yang. I mean, Chopper, fantastic. However, the sassiest droid from Ahsoka has to take it home.
Yes. Well, and I think he almost gave you a almost like the oh man, my mind just went blank. Who's K2SO? He almost give you a K2SO and C3PO combo.
Yeah, because he was definitely more refined than K2SO, and he still had a little bit of that sass. And I thought one of the other great things about it was that connection between historic Jedi stuff and current stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So hopefully, I don't know if Josh is now 3 for 3. We don't know.
I'm sure we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
When he starts bragging.
Well, we have 12 people watching, so I mean, I might have to need oxygen here. We have 12 people, so I never thought I'd be Oh, I know. Yeah, the voice
Yeah.
is definitely. The voice is yeah, definitely. Wasn't he? Again, I'm terrible
Doctor
with
Who.
names. If you've listened to the show, you'll know I forget everyone's name. He's a Doctor Who, right? He was one of the Doctor Who's. Okay, good. So
He was also in Morbius, right? Is that correct?
No, different doctor.
Different Doctor. Okay.
I don't know the
Oh, that was
actor's
Meg.
name.
Okay.
and then we have
Yeah, Chopper is the sassiest droid overall. However, Hu Yang was more sassy in Ahsoka specifically.
Well, the fact that that Hu Yang was willing to say to Sabine, "Yeah, you're the worst we've ever seen."
well, there now this we might have opened up a can of worms. Like maybe Chopper might get mad at the Academy here, the Academy of Us. Are we droidist against droids that don't speak common?
Basic? No, I wouldn't say that.
I don't know. Like he could have a case.
Yeah, we'll have to pass that one up to the higher ups in the Academy.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
We are just the humble presenters, the anonymous Academy.
Yes,
will have to deal with this matter.
Yes,
but I think it's a good place to move on, and a good thing to tell you that this following award is brought to you by the Beskar Bucket. So
now you need a tagline: the Beskar Bucket, where you come for the and you leave with the.
Go ahead.
You come for the ambiance and you leave with the wonderful interview. You come for the Star Wars, you leave with a wonderful interview by John Scalise, also renowned panelist from Celebration as well.
Yes. The international
podcaster, yes.
So you come for the conversation, but you stay because of the host.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, Mike,
I don't know. I see. Yeah, that's good.
We hate Hulk Hogan. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate.
All right, we got it. You got a new hype, man.
Yep. No Hulkamaniacs allowed at the Beskar Bucket. But Mike, do you want to take this next category?
Yes, I do. All right. So if you're playing at home, the best father-son duo. And I remember the beginning of this duo, and we should have, if we were really professional, we would have found the clip. But we're not professional. We're not professional. But I remember John, as known at home as Little John. Are you known as Little John at home?
JC is my.
What's the worst? Family. What's the worst one? Like,
don't tell him that, John, because he's going to use it.
No, it's already been dropped in the chat by General Veers himself. So.
So I was called Little John because my real dad's name was John and my name was John. So I was called Little John up until probably 15 years ago. My name hasn't been John for 40 some years. So I understand that being a Little John. There we go. I prefer Papa John and Little John. There you go.
Yep. Anyway,
so this is one of those ones. If you're playing at home and you get this one wrong, you probably shouldn't be watching the show.
Yeah.
Let's see the winner now. Is there a winner slide for this?
There is a winner
John
slide.
And John. Like, if you want to just see the happiness of Star Wars, you see a father and son trooping. I've been there with my daughters. I troop with my daughters, but I see you guys representing all your beautiful costumes. So John, I don't think there's much we can say. But
I think you should say a little bit more. That yes, they troop and they build costumes together. And considering our very first set of nominees tonight around collectibles, these two fellows have an impressive collection of action figures and vehicles and things.
Yes.
In fact, I think one of the Johns has at least 2 copies of the Revenge of the Sith movie.
Yeah, one of them has 2 copies. The other has 106. I'll let you put your guesses in the comments there to see which is which. But yeah, no, the last year and a half of trooping with my dad has been incredible. It's been honest to God been the most I could have ever, the best experience I could have ever asked for. And it's been amazing. Like going to cons and stuff, because I always thought I'd never get him to go to a con either.
Yeah.
So to get him in a costume in the 501st at a convention at the smaller troops, it's been fun.
And how many approved costumes does he have?
2. We each got, or no, he's got 2. I have 3 at the moment. So, but yeah, no, it's been incredible. I've said it before. I can't express my gratitude enough that he was willing to do all this with me. So
Now, do you have any advice for like families? We'll just say families. It could be father, son, daughter, whatever. But families that are like on the fence of trooping or on the fence of asking that one family member that might want to do it.
Start bullying them until they actually do it. Just really crack the whip. Tell them you're going to do it, whether you like it or not. That's essentially what I did. So I don't know if I'm going to be the best person to give advice for that, but
well, it worked.
Yeah, no,
so, I mean,
it worked. Whatever you did, I mean,
yeah, whatever I did worked. So
and your dad does the hardest characters possible. Like he does the face characters. Like I don't even like to do face characters, and I've been doing this since 2007. Your dad does the hard ones because you know as well as I, when you have a bucket on, if you're just bored as crap with it, you could just kind of sit there and still look like a stormtrooper, and your dad gets into it. So it's wonderful.
And let's give him the credit that is truly due. Not only does he get into it, he does it well. Like it's not just his face, it's not just the boots, it's the presence from top to bottom. I mean, I've seen pictures of him with children. I've seen little videos of him walking from one side of the booth to the other. It's the whole thing.
Yeah, no, he perks up his his shoulders and really he sells the whole character 100% of the time. So
yeah, so we could take some lessons from him in terms of stage presence and so on. I mean, he becomes rail straight and shoulders back and very regal or commanding or demanding, almost like a true jerk, but we know it's just part of the act.
Yeah. Well, and again, so now I picture John at the Beskar bucket wiping the bar down in his bartender, and now his dad's going to be at the other end of the bar. Like, is he going to be part of the Beskar bucket soon?
He'll be the bouncer.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Forever in the background until you need him.
Nice.
Is there any father and son custom Mandos in the future?
I don't know about Mandos. But we're hoping to do a project together in the very near future.
Nice.
So,
well, again, I get happy every time I see those pictures. It's just because I've been there to a certain point, and to have your adult children like to do stuff with you as an adult, it's I know what it feels like. So
yeah.
Well, what do we have next on tap for our show tonight?
Well, Ken, this one's all you.
Oh, fantastic. So we have 4 characters to choose from for 2023's nominees. First one on the list is Shin Hati from Ahsoka. We've got Captain Enoch, also from Ahsoka. Nubs, that furry little blue guy from Young Jedi Adventures. And Fee, that mischievous... I don't know if mischievous is the right... Mysterious. That might be a better way to describe it. Mysterious character at first from the Bad Batch. And so when you see this list of names, guys, what jumps out at you? Like, what do you think of in terms of these 4 characters?
I mean, right off the rip, Enoch and his presence and his armor just completely blew me away when we first saw him in Ahsoka. So that's by far one of the best unique armored characters we've seen.
Yes. And I always think when I see him, yes, my daughter refused. She turned down helping put stormtrooper costumes together because she had to do schoolwork, and I'm like, knocking my head against the wall. But I like Nubs. like I'm a little I don't know why I like nubs. So I bought a little nubs the other day, like a couple weeks ago, and I hid it in Zoe's room, and she just finally found it. And
Well,
Shin again, that's another one. She was very reminiscent to me of early Ventress in the sense that she just wanted to wreak havoc, you know.
Yeah, I can see that. And for going back a couple characters, Captain Enoch, I want to mention that of all of Star Wars, and everyone that listens to this show knows that I've been watching Star Wars for a long time. Captain Enoch is the first TK, the first stormtrooper that made me say that's a stormtrooper costume that I would want to make and get into. It's that very unique, stands out from a crowd. And that's one of the reasons why I went with the custom Mandos, because you can make it personalized and
Right.
be different. But Captain Enoch, that was a fantastic look. And to your point about Shin, one of the things I like about her is, we've seen Ventress as an apprentice sort of Dooku, but I didn't necessarily see her as someone in training still. And Shin, from my perspective, is kind of that alternate of the Jedi Padawan. So she was still actively learning and, like you said, wanting to cause havoc around the universe.
And then Fee always made me thought if Hondo had a girlfriend or a sister, that would be Fee.
Yeah.
You know.
And I remember when I first learned that it was going to be Wanda Sykes' voice, that I was a little thrown off. Like, I didn't know if she would fit in well with Star Wars or whatever. And she did a fantastic job with that character. And Fee became one of those characters that was like a curveball character. I thought she was going to be one way when we first, were introduced to her. And then I became a big Fee fan.
Yeah. That's the weird thing about when you hear a famous person doing a voice or a cameo. You don't know which way it's going to go. Like, it reminds me of when I first heard Woody Harrelson was going to be in Han Solo.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, that's gonna, and then he was one of my most beloved characters in that show.
Yeah, Fee definitely caught me by surprise. I did not expect to enjoy her character nearly as much as I did.
Yeah.
And to have your heart broken at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Heartbroken for her.
Yeah.
Because of spoiler alert, her almost boyfriend died.
Yeah. So Ken, are you going to read this winner?
Well, let's put it up on the screen for everyone.
Wait a minute. I have a guest. He thinks he's going to win.
Uh-oh.
He's excited.
More votes for Nubs.
Is Nubs going to give us a drum roll?
Nubs is just excited. Let's see what happens. Oh, poor Nubs.
Oh,
well,
it's Shin Hati.
Nubs is going to join the dark side because Shin won. I think Zoe's taking him up to start practicing the dark arts.
Yeah, I feel like with this one, this is another one where it's like, you couldn't go any other way.
Yeah.
I mean, Shin was by far one of the most fan favorites from Ahsoka.
Oh, definitely. And I also think the actress, which again, I'm terrible with names, the actress that played her seemed to have, not that really matters. I don't want to be one of those people that says everyone in this show has to be a huge Star Wars fan, but it did seem like she had such an enjoyable time playing the character, Well,
I think they got into the mix with the other makers.
Yeah.
I don't think you walk onto the set of Star Wars anymore and just say, well, I'm famous, I belong here. We really want to see you bring this character to life with everybody else. So it's that ensemble kind of thing where we're a collective and it's not just about any one person. And to be able to bring fun and inspiration and wonder and curiosity and excitement to the role is a fantastic thing to see. And I think the actress who played Shin did all of that. And it's going to be very, very exciting to see what happens next, because we know that they've talked about season 2 of Ahsoka.
Right. And the other thing about and from a costuming standpoint, the Shin's costume almost had 1 foot in Star Wars 1 foot in like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And then you had the giant statues. So it was kind of like they were playing with these motifs that we've all seen before, whether on purpose or whatever. It was a really neat aesthetic. So.
Yeah, and I just noticed the time, guys. We've been running at this for 45 minutes, and we're just at our sixth
sixth one
category.
Yep,
So,
this is gonna be like this is a 10-part
if,
series.
I can almost hear Kristen Baver now saying, "Come on, guys, pick up the pace."
That's 2. If you're counting, that's 2. That's
2.
2. If you're counting.
Well, if we're picking up the pace, let's move along to our next category, which is by far one of the most important things in Star Wars. You've got the best musical piece. Now, there was a lot of good music this year, and again, this is another one that was really hard to narrow down to 4. I did my best to add the official track titles to it, but we've got Sabine's rock mix from Ahsoka when she's on her speeder bike in Lothal. Stronger Together, which is when Grogu saved Din and Bo-Katan on Mandalore. Thrawn's introduction is self-explanatory. And then the racing mix from the pod racing episode from the Bad Batch. Now, I don't know which one of these stands out to you guys, but I think Thrawn's introduction was incredible.
Oh, I still get goosebumps thinking about it now. I'm not even watching the show, and just the way that it showed up and really took over was awesome.
Yeah, and I remember the Sabine mix. I remember them all. The one that sticks out, the 2 that stick out, is the Highway Driving song. That's there we go.
And that was done by the Kiners, right? The Kiner brother, Kiner family, rather.
Yeah, I just listen to what's on, but that's good. So the
racing mix. If you're looking for something to drive to, the racing mix is fantastic as well. And it's interesting because it doesn't sound like John Williams music, and it's still Star Wars music. So it has this electronic kind of tempo and punch to it that I really enjoy.
Yeah. So I don't know if our fans are just getting impatient or they're just guessing. I still haven't heard a score on Josh yet, but who's the winner?
I mean, it seems like everyone was ahead of the script here, but obviously it's Thrawn's introduction. The nice that beautiful track with the stormtroopers chanting Thrawn in the background is just S tier, excellent. Wasn't going to be anything else.
Yeah. Well,
I will say there was one person in the Academy that really championed for this one.
Yes. Well,
and that member will remain anonymous behind the curtain.
As all members of the Academy are.
Yes.
They are of course anonymous.
Right. Well, now that we have a website, we could maybe we could send out screeners next year to a few people if we get enough fan base.
Well, what I think would be fun is if we could have a couple fan-based categories next year.
Yeah. If we get, we might still be doing this next year at this pace.
That's true.
Yeah. So moving along, Mike, this one's all you.
Oh, is this me? Okay, good.
You.
Okay, creatures. Okay, so we know Star Wars is full of creatures and animals. So we have the giant dinosaur turtle from The Mandalorian. We have the return of the Zillo Beast in the Bad Batch. The return of a Zillo Beast. It wasn't the original one. The Howler from Ahsoka, and the Purgle from Ahsoka. So, I mean, what do you guys have? I mean, giant creatures or creatures in general in Star Wars just always go hand in hand.
Yeah, look, I have to say for the record that giant dinosaur turtle is the canon name according to Wikipedia.
Is it really? Okay.
Yes. Did you think I would make that up?
I don't know. I was just thinking I couldn't remember when we were putting this together if we were all just like, I think it was a giant turtle, but it was a dinosaur. I couldn't remember what we actually said. So I was just like, it looks good. John was trying to get his graphics done,
Nope. That I searched far and wide to try and find any conflicting information, but according to Wikipedia, that's it.
Are you fighting for Ken's job of being the man of knowledge?
No, not at all.
He's just
All right, well,
he's doing his due diligence as the researcher.
Yeah.
What if Zoe
research.
put up a howler, and one of the things I love about the howler is at first you think this is going to be just this feisty, fierce beast, and it ended up being cuddly and cute with Sabine, kind of like the if you've been paying attention to 2024's Bad Batch, they have a great character in there that's like that too. First starts out ferocious,
Yeah.
and then we come to find out that got a heart of gold.
Yeah. So,
All right, Mike.
all right,
Who's taking this one?
And the winner of this one, the creature is the giant dinosaur turtle. All right, and I know when I was talking about this off thing, the one thing I loved about it is we saw tons of Mandos. Like that's, I think, what made it so much cooler is like Mandos were, I mean, it was okay to see all those Tuskens with the crate dragon, but who cares if a bunch of Tuskens are running around? We got to see Mandos flying around and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I feel like this one, it could have gone anyway, but the giant dinosaur turtle taking this one seems fitting.
Yeah.
So
all right, let's keep this sucker moving.
I'm going to keep up that pace because our next category for 2023's best is best vehicle. So we've got the E-Wing, we've got Gorian Shard's pirate ship, and I got to say that's hard to say, so it's important to say it slowly. The Gorian Shard's pirate ship. We have portable high ground, and we also have IG-12. And for those of you that are wondering why we picked a robot, that happened to be the robot that carried around Grogu in its chest, kind of like Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, you had to throw the jetpacks or the portable high ground in there. Because, I mean, that scene where you've got Bo-Katan in the armor leading the charge of all the Mandalorians, that was incredible to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially considering we saw it in live action. It wasn't animated. We've seen them fly around in cartoons and stuff. And we saw a handful of First Order stormtroopers flying around. I mean, it was Poe that said they fly now, but to see that many in the Mandalorian was incredible.
Yeah, and the I liked what they did with IG-12 from not only just making him having something to drive, but it also let Grogu go on the adventure and not seem like, oh, why are we carrying this kid around in a sack again? You know what I mean? That was a very good plot point.
Well, and it was the first time that we'd heard Grogu kind of murmur and mumble a little bit, but it was the first time that he used a voice with the yes/no joystick buttons.
So, Ken, give us the winning of this best vehicle.
So I'm going to do my darndest. I got to say it slowly, everybody. It is Gorian Shard's pirate ship, and the fact that they had it was called the pirate ship is wonderful to see pirates in Star Wars and not just the animated ones from the droids cartoons in the 80s. It was impressive. I'm sad that it was bombed and crashed into was it Navarro? Was that the planet that it crashed on?
Yeah.
I just hope that there maybe some folks were able to get some bits and pieces of it and figure out a way of cobbling it back together again, because I would like to see Gorian Shard's pirate ship sail again.
And again, all these vehicles were cool. Like it was hard to pick. Like we made these lists, and then it was when the committee sat down to look at them all, it was extremely difficult, to like they all could have been winners, but we don't have enough fake Golden TaunTauns not to give out that everyone could win. All right, what's our next one, John?
All right. Next up, you got Moment of the Year. There were so many fantastic things that happened this year. And I feel like these are the four best. You've got Tech's demise, which is absolutely heartbreaking. Dave Filoni's promotion, which I think you could hear a collective cry out in joy across the entire fandom when that happened. And then seeing Anthony Daniels come back as C-3PO, that I think that filled everyone's heart, especially when he's talking about Leia. And then lastly, a personal one for the Academy. The Han Solo Chronicles filming once again. That was, even though I personally wasn't there, I hear it was an excellent time.
We had, it was, and you know what? It's so Text Demise. I mean, that was a sad moment, but I had a lot of fun in London harassing all the tech costumers, pointing out the gondola outside the thing, saying, "Hey, you guys shouldn't ride that." And they thought about it,
Watch your step. Don't fall off.
Don't get in this elevator with us.
One of the great things about this list is it shows the breadth of emotions that are available to you in Star Wars. It's not just, Wookiees and Ewoks and fun. It's also the other end of that extreme. So we're able to witness both of these kind of emotional pieces or pinnacles, and hold them in some semblance of a quality of importance. And some of it's also real world stuff. The fact that we, the three of us, have been involved in some shape or form of the Han Solo Chronicles is really exciting, because it means we as fans get to help make something for other folks beyond just the show that we put together on a regular basis.
Well, and I feel like the Han Solo Chronicles, they tried to influence the Academy a little bit by releasing that trailer bit with some footage, so they must have heard our conversations a couple weeks ago. But yeah, it was like C-3PO's return. Veers just mentioned, but it was just neat to see, all of us old heads C-3PO again. And we did forget the one we should have added to this. Our 1-year anniversary of this show happened in 2023. In 2023.
2023, yeah, it was
our 1 year, which if anyone would have told us that we would pretty much get together every single Wednesday for a year in a row, we would have probably said, "Nah, we're too busy." So.
Well, when you originally sold it to us, you're like, I just needed you guys to help me test this out.
And I really did. Like, I hope it really was just, I had no plan on having a podcast in any way, shape, or form in this. You know what I mean? Because if I have enough projects. So, and I'm glad we have it.
Mike, but what's our motto? What's one more?
Yeah, right.
It's always what's one more.
That's one more.
So I'm glad this one more stuck, and we've been doing this for now 2 consecutive years.
Yes. So who's the winner of this one?
The winner of this one, it's got to be Text Demise. That scene, I think that was the first time that I really teared up real bad. I got a bit puffy eyed when Tech just goes playing 99 and sacrifices himself for the rest of the batch.
Since when do we follow orders?
Yes.
And please don't ask Heather about how many times I've teared up watching something Star Wars related.
Yeah,
because you have 106 copies of Revenge of the Sith. I probably have 106, instances where I've cried watching a trailer. So
hell, I welled up today.
Yeah.
Getting ready for the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Safi has a box of tissue she marked for Zoe's tears. So. Oh, okay. I'm gonna put this one up here. Just.
Well, on that note, Mike, you want to take us into the next category here?
What are we doing? Best new costume. Okay, so we have Ahsoka Tano from Ahsoka. We have Ragnar Vizsla from The Mandalorian. We have Captain Bombardier, otherwise known as Jack Black from The Mandalorian, and Marek. Am I saying it right?
I think it's Merrick, but most Star Wars names can be said a couple different ways.
So
Han,
I've heard it both ways. Han, and all right. But we have Mark from Ahsoka. So all of these, we're all costumers. So probably other than the Ahsoka Tano, I don't think most of us us three would probably wear. I mean, you could, you can do whatever you want, but the one that stood out right away on this list was Ragnar, because the helmet reminds me of the Kenner Boba Fett.
Yeah, because the visor, the T visor was so much bigger.
Yeah. Which was kind of cool. So, like when someone was designing that, they were probably thinking, "Well, look, there's a kids one they made for Kenner. So if it's good for kids on Earth, let's just make it for that, which I thought
Well,
was
not
really
just that, but so Shauna and Judah and the rest of the costume team, when they were putting together the costumes for the kids, they were very conscious of the fact that it was kids being placed into these costumes. And there was actually one costume that I remember wasn't Ragnar's, but it was a one where just the front was solid and the back was soft, and it was
Oh, yes.
so they went out of their way to make these costumes special for the kid actors and actresses that were going to be in them.
Yeah. Well, and then Captain Bombardier. I mean, that was like an awesome, you know, um, it was just an awesome, fancy costume to me. The name fits the costume.
Yes, 1,000,000% yes. And we probably could do an entire show just on the costumes. In fact, I put that to you, Mike, as a challenge for CaritaCast, is to
Yeah.
highlight at least 5 of the costumes from each of the live action shows to
Yeah.
talk through.
Yeah, and that's I mean, and the Bombardier costume looks like a costume I could really work out and fit in properly. Like, I could cancel my gym membership or something. I wouldn't
Let
have
yourself
You can
go.
grow that thick, luscious beard.
Yeah. I could do that. Yeah, that's. But no, I like that costume. I like the Marek one, but man, he didn't last long. So it's like,
Yeah, that's still that. Merrick is on my list of that's down the line. That would be a fun costume to do.
yeah. And the Ahsoka one, the more pictures you see of the details and that and stuff.
Yeah.
So let's announce this one because we'll just yap on for here. But our winner is it's Jack Black. So
Captain Bombardier.
Captain Bombardier and his wonderful Imperial robes. That was I just thought that was a happy episode. Like that looked like I bet you the people on set that day it looked like everyone was having fun.
I mean, Jack Black, Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah,
come
yeah,
on.
that was
How awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was perfectly eccentric for a very eccentric man.
Yeah. Well, and I also think that's going to be one of those ones in the future that it's because of the guests, it did stamp like it's almost like a timestamp. Like this was made when these people were Star Wars fans and they were popular. You know what I mean? Like it is kind of cool to do that, I think. I mean, I know some people didn't. But
Look at Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu. I think that's another example of that. I mean, from what I know, Sam Jackson, I'll use this term loosely, petitioned to be in Star Wars.
Yeah. And he's petitioning now to come back to Star Wars.
Yes.
So we are going to have some Mace Windu episodes, I'm pretty sure.
Even if, yes. And even though I will say after listening to Dark Disciple, I am not a Mace Windu fan.
Yeah, but then see, that's the thing. If you're not a fan of a character like that, that means it's a good character. If you're not in universe,
it was brilliantly written.
Yeah,
it was. So for those of you that haven't read or listened to Dark Disciple, please do yourself a favor and listen or read that book. It is absolutely wonderful. And they made, even though Mace we know is a Jedi, they made him in that book unlikable in my perspective.
Because he really only got shocked and one hand cut off, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he could. People have survived.
People have survived a lot,
or survived more.
Yeah. All right, let's go to our Close Encounters?
Close Encounters, and I want to make sure I explain this one. This one is being brought to you by the Unifying Fandom Network, the Star Wars Unifying Fandom Network, and it's this is a wonderful category because it encompasses so much of what we do. We get together and talk about Star Wars. We build things related to Star Wars. We meet other fans who enjoy Star Wars, and from time to time, if the stars aligned, we're lucky enough to actually meet the makers of Star Wars, and that's what this category is all about. It's close encounters with the makers of Star Wars. And so with that said, let's hear who tonight's nominees are. So we have Chris Bartlett, James Arnold Taylor, and Ahmed Best. So I was lucky enough this year to get to spend a little. Sorry, last year, 2023, to get to spend a little bit of time talking with Ahmed Best, and that's why he made it on the list. John, do you want to tell us, or Mike, do you want to tell us a
John.
little bit about your experience hanging out with Chris Bartlett?
Well, and you were with me, so
Yeah.
we got. So I had met Chris Bartlett years ago, just in all the interactions, but I never really got to talk to him in person to an extent. We went to a con that was very underattended, and we took Safi as 000, and Chris, who is a droid person, he came up and was taking pictures of her and videos and talking to her about being a droid, because you have to bolt yourself in. And he was just so kind to her and inspiring. And then I got scolded for keeping her in the costume too much, which I tried to explain to him. She likes being in the costume. And yeah, he was just so nice. He was nice to us. He was nice to all the people there. And it was just a nice encounter to talk to someone who just enjoyed being part of Star Wars. And he was there, to sign autographs for people that wanted and talk. And very, very nice guy. And he's also who I bought my girl's original Jawa robes from. So that was in 2006 when I bought those.
So the Hinton family's got to be some extension of related to the Bartlett family now. There's got to be. I mean, it's Don Johnson as a cousin and Chris Bartlett as an adopted nephew or uncle or something like that.
Well, yeah. See, the first time I actually met him in person was in Orlando, and I was with a bunch of guys that all wore C-3PO suits. So you could tell that I was the only guy never going to fit in a C-3PO suit, because it was like all these very thin fit guys. And then there's Mike. So I somehow wound up hanging out with those guys. So
everybody needs a wingman.
Yeah. All right, John. So you got to let us know. We talked about mine.
Yeah, so mine is not nearly as in depth as your guys, but it was really nice at Cincinnati Comic Expo. We all got the chance to meet James Arnold Taylor and chat with him for a hot sec, because he always comes over to the booth apparently when he has the opportunity to run away. So it was a really, really fun experience to be able to just meet him for a hot second, grab a picture, and, just to be in the presence. Like I said, it wasn't nearly as personal as your guys's, but it was fun.
Well, I even though it wasn't 2023, I was able to hang out for a little bit with James Arnold Taylor at Disney Star Wars weekend. So Heather and I went down once, and we got up early and got in lines to get the little wristbands that allowed you to get an autograph or a picture with one of the stars. And one of the ones that we picked during our day was James Arnold Taylor, and he signed a Kenobi book for me. Super, super nice guy, and I love his ability to go from one voice to another. He was just in the drop of a hat, the wink of an eye to take on these different voice roles with him. And going back to the other close encounter that Heather and I had, it was at Contropolis. We had met Ahmed Best at Celebration, but we got to spend a little bit more time with him at Contropolis because it was a smaller, more low-keyed show, and he was very excited because I happened to be wearing a Keller and Beck t-shirt, and so it wasn't just me in my Jar Jar t-shirt, which I have several of now. And he was such a nice guy, fun loving, willing to spend tons of time with everyone who wanted to come and see him. It was just fantastic. So in my mind, he's the best.
Well, does that did it give us time to say who won?
I think so, and I think that for all of those of you that don't know, we're big Jar Jar fans on this show, and the Academy agreed with us that the close encounter of 2023 was Ahmed Best. So Ahmed, thank you very much for being such a great person. Chris, thank you for being a great person. James Arnold Taylor, thank you for being a great person. But this year, only one person gets the Golden TaunTaun, and that's Ahmed.
But being nominated is just as good. Right, they can put that on their IMDb page, whatever they want,
Yeah, and honestly, like thinking about it, I actually see Ahmed Best more as Kelleran Beck now than I do see him as Jar Jar Binks. As iconic as Jar Jar is, I love the character of Kelleran Beck, especially even more now that we know that he was the one to save Grogu from.
Now, did you watch his show? Did you watch his show?
The Jedi Temple Challenge?
Temple Challenge?
I have not.
Oh,
you
you've
watched
got
the
to.
Jedi Temple Challenge, man. It's
Yeah, it's
cool.
fun. It was like one of those Nickelodeon shows from
Yeah.
the 80s where it was obstacle courses and puzzles and it's Ahmed Best as Caloran Beck, and I'm pretty sure Chris Bartlett was on there too.
No, that was Gordon Tarplay.
Golden TaunTaun. Oh, okay.
Gordon Tarplay played the droid. So, but yeah, that's it. That's it. If you need more Ahmed Best, you definitely got to watch that. All right,
Well,
where are we at? Oh, we're at the Lifetime. Is it the Lifetime Achievement Award?
It is the Lifetime Achievement Award. Now, I think this one, I can't believe that we got this one down to 4.
Yeah.
I mean, Wilro Hood from the Bestman Mining Facility. I mean, not to say anything about Wilro Hood from the Bestman Mining Facility. I mean, he was great, but Wilro Hood
From the yes.
But what about Wilro?
Well, Wilro Hood. Yes. And if you don't know who Wilro Hood is,
it's the man on your screen right now.
yes. He's the one that stole the ice cream maker. Which, depending on if you read certain things, it's anywhere from a computer core to a cantona that carries treasure. But originally it was some kind of, they made it a computer core, the original lore of it. But yeah, it's a guy with an ice cream maker. So if you need a really cheap starter costume, look up the CRL for Wilro Hood, and you can get a ice cream maker and go to a convention and run with the hoods.
Just be careful though, because they're becoming more and more selective about who they will let run in the running of the hoods.
In the last time they wouldn't even tell you the starting point unless you were a member. It was like top secret. So, but if you want to get fit and be a Star Wars costumer, Wilro Hood would be a one to start with, right next to the prisoners from Andor.
Narkina 5.
But you got to have bare feet or rubber feet.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait to see who won.
Okay, let's see.
Achievement Award.
And hopefully people get this. I don't know if I put this on the play at home card.
This could have been like the free space in the bingo board.
Yeah, it was like it's like the free space.
Yeah, but of no surprise to anyone, it's Wilro Hood.
Yes. So,
but
yeah, not to be confused with the Red Hood, which was from Batman.
Or Little Red Riding Hood.
Yes.
Or Ice Cube in Boys in the Hood.
Well, yes.
A lot of hoods.
Yeah.
But Mike, I cannot believe that the roll of the dice here led us to this being the next award.
The
and
comedic
you get
moment?
you get to present it. The man who is championed for Star Wars Comedy Night gets to introduce the best comedic moment of 2023.
All right. So it was Din Djarin kicking that B-2 battle droid. Echo went over the plans 5 times. At first, I was reading it, and I was thinking Echo went over the wall and fell. I was thinking you were just being, like
that's Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah. Monkey lizards, all the monkey lizards we saw in the trees. And then, wait a minute, where am I at? And the Anzellans, which I have an Anzellin. I have an Anzellin right here.
No squeezy.
Wait a minute. Oh, I don't know. All right. So we have our guest Anzellins. I don't know if he's going to be happy or sad with the winning. And what are your thoughts on the favorite comedic moments?
Ken, I know what your favorite out of these 4 is.
Yes, because went over the plan 5 times.
Well, he got the package, didn't he?
5 times. Like, I just love and I understand it's D. Bradley Baker talking to D. Bradley Baker, but it still makes me laugh every single time. And I laughed from the moment I saw it in the trailer and the 16 times I watched the episode. 5 times.
Yeah. seeing the bookend of the Kowakian monkey lizards in The Mandalorian, from
Yes.
being spit roasted in the first season to freely climbing about the trees in the third season, that's hysterical.
Yes, yes. Well, let's see who the winners are.
Of course.
Well, we have one happy little guy, the Anzellans. Again, that was just so cool. I was worried about them when the pirates attacked, that they were going to be, really beat up, but the Anzellans that's definitely. It just reminds you all the fun things we get to watch in Star Wars, from the little singing Jawas at the beginning of New Hope to all the other little things. So the Anzellans it is. So we made Nubs sad, but Babu's pretty happy.
Yeah, and I guess that's all you can ask for, right? You can't please everyone, but as long as you get one,
right?
Yes.
So, Josh, we need an updated tally here.
Yeah, what's your score there, Josh? Come on, he fell asleep. He's
well, the last we read was 3 out of 7.
Yeah.
So he went from doing wonderful
really good,
being us, less than average.
Well, we're at what, 14 out of 25. All right.
We're turning and burning. But while Josh is tabulating his score at the moment, Ken, why don't you take us into our next category?
Yeah,
here.
So the next one is quote of the year, and this is 1,000,000% up my alley. I love little lines and stuff from the shows, and the 4 nominees for this year are. I gotta apologize. I gotta make this screen a little bit bigger just so I can read the darn thing. That's the beauty of getting as old as I am. So the first one, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, said by Hu Yang in Ahsoka. Well, you know what makes us different from battle droids? We make our own decisions, our own choices, and we have to live with them too. Said by Cody in the Bad Batch. Always focus on helping others, a Jedi must, not on objects. That was Yoda in the animated show Young Jedi Adventures. And the last nominee for this year's 2023 quote of the year, what was first just a dream has become a frightening reality for those who may oppose us. I mean, Star Wars has been filled with quotes since the 70s, and I think these are 4 fantastic ones that we got in 2023. So I say those quotes, what jumps out at you about them? What
can I point out
the
pressure of whoever has to write Yoda? do you think when they're sitting in a writer's room that like no one wants Yoda? Like when they say, okay, now who's going to write the script for Yoda? Everyone's like looking at other stuff,
Yeah, because they're going to possibly make it sound wrong.
I mean,
but I'm saying every one of his quotes are so good,
Oh yeah, but I mean, you want to talk about pressure though. Lars Mikkelsen making the jump from animation to live action and having to deliver that same cadence.
That's true.
First off, what was first just a dream being his his opening line in the show, that totally sent me. I was perfectly happy with everything they did up to that point as soon as I heard that line.
Because there's so much packed in that, in literally in that one line.
Well, and I feel like the writers, and maybe I'm giving them more credit than I should or something, but I also feel like the writers must study famous speeches to a certain point, because they don't sound like specific speeches, but they sound like someone who knows speeches. Or maybe I'm just really bad at writing speeches, but they just sound. They sound like they're easily could be like, if you just took some of the Star Warsiness away, it sounds like it could almost be a famous speech from any famous, leader through time, good or bad.
Oh, 1,000,000%, yes. And I think that's one of the powerful things about it, is that it's crafted so well. And I know that these are, cartoons for kids and TV shows for kids and movies for kids, and a lot of attention is given to the words that are uttered, even to the point of making sure that the most appropriate character utters those words, because I don't think those words would have been as meaningful if it had come pardon me, if I was getting all emotional, if they had come from, let's say, um, Merrick,
Yeah. Yeah.
or even, General Bombardier, Captain Bombardier. I don't. So the selection of them, and I can't help but wonder, if we're ever going to get a book of Star Wars quotes, similar to Kristen Baver's 100 Objects book,
It's 3 if you're counting at
where
home.
where
That's
it's
3.
just a series of quotes, almost like, because we have books of great speeches. So whether it's the Emancipation Proclamation or John F. Kennedy's, "We have nothing to fear but fear itself," or "I have a dream" speech. We have those in this world. We could very easily put together, one, in the Star Wars universe.
Sounds like your next book, Ken.
I'd love to get a chance to sit down with Kristen and bounce some ideas off and figure out how to make it happen.
All right. So who's the winner? Give us the winner.
So the winner this year for the 2023 quote of the year, that Golden TaunTaun goes to Cody. Well, you know what makes us different from battle droids? We make our own decisions, our own choices, and we have to live with them too.
Yeah,
That-
that was an impactful line.
Yep.
I mean, seeing where Cody was at, from having the nice bright orange armor to being dulled down to gray, being beaten down by the Empire, and then just delivering that line was just sends shivers down your spine.
Well, and also to realize that the Jedi were the only ones that treated them like that. The Empire treats them like they are droids. So yeah, that's a good speech. All right, we are.
And it looks like our viewers have had a number of different votes in here. So we had a couple people thinking Yoda was going to do it, but
Josh is at 511. So we'll see if how's that work. So John, that brings us up to yours for villain.
Best villain. I mean, this was 2023 was the year of the villain. I mean, it between Grand Admiral Thrawn and Ahsoka, the surprise turn of Sid in the Bad Batch, the eeriness of Dr. Hemlock also from the Bad Batch, and then Elia Kane in her, apparent change of heart, and then immediately flipping back to being on Moff Gideon's side in The Mandalorian. That we had some great villains this year.
Yeah, and a lot of our voting was based on many things.
The Academy's voting.
The Academy, sorry, Academy. But like Sid, to me, when I looked at Sid was almost worse because she was a friend, or a somewhat of a friend. That betrayal seemed almost worse to me.
And with that in mind, I think what's important, as we were, mentioned the Academy, one of the things that went into the Academy's voting this year was what we actually saw them do this year.
Yes.
So we saw Sid go from being someone who somewhat helped the Bad Batch to being the betrayer, being the traitor.
Yeah.
We saw Dr. Hemlock, who, from where I sit, was super creepy and doing horrible things to many clones for a variety of reasons.
And for almost some of them, no reason. He just seemed like, it seems like it's a Tuesday.
Well, how about just
Tom's Day.
the move where he threw Tech's goggles on the floor in front of his brothers and sister? That's pretty low, man.
Well, this year's winner, it might surprise you, and I feel like we're gonna have a lot of broken hearts out there, but it's got to go to Dr. Hemlock.
Oh wow!
I know. I think we might have a little rebellion on this one.
Yeah, I can promise all of you there was at least one member of the Academy that agreed with you.
Yeah.
Thrawn was a great villain, but Dr. Hemlock being just so cold-hearted to all of these characters that we've all grown watching over the last 15 years from the Clone Wars.
Yep.
And just to treat them with such disregard and like you said, treat them like droids.
Well, and I think Thrawn, we haven't even what's that? Like the Joker said, you haven't seen nothing yet. Like
Yeah.
Thrawn, we haven't even they haven't even touched the surface of because I think once Thrawn gets to do Thrawn, it's there we can't even have a category. It's just going to be Thrawn that year.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
we definitely haven't seen the last of Thrawn as a character, yet alone what
yeah,
Thrawn's truly capable. I don't think Thrawn has Thrawned yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Hemlock was a like a shock to the system. With like you said, the people he was just damaging over the years that we have grown up with, or grown old with. So,
Yeah. Well,
all right.
Mike, we've got another great category coming up for you.
Which best scene? Okay, so best scene was. I got to make sure I'm reading these right. Where am I at? Where am I at? Why is my scene? Oh yeah. Okay, Cody and Crosshair talking at the wall. We had the one final lesson with Ahsoka. We have Paz Vizsla's heroic sacrifice, and then the seeing of the mythosaur in the what was that body of water called?
The Living Waters.
Living
Living
Waters.
in the minds of Mandalore.
It's Living Waters. And again, all of these were good. I mean, I know, for the Cody and Crosshair, that to me reminded me of pretty much everything you see about real wars, in the sense that you see these young men or whatever that are used to do what they're supposed to be doing, and the reflection of it. So that's and then again, John, myself, Zoe, and Safi got to see the well, I don't know if Safi did, she was running around London, but the Paz's sacrifice on the big screen was pretty impactful too.
Yeah, I think the one final lesson with Anakin and Ahsoka, that was I think that was just everyone's childhood from my generation.
Oh
just
yeah,
culminating in one incredible moment. Seeing Anakin and Ahsoka on screen in
definitely.
2023 was just mind blowing.
Yeah. Oh, and it was done so well. I mean, that was like that was such a beautiful surprise in the Ahsoka show. Like when we got Mando and his new ship in Book of Boba Fett, that was no comparison to the surprise of Anakin, and because I really thought we were just going to see Hayden as Force ghosts in that show. Like,
and I think that whole setup, that whole series of images and even the lines in there. So there were some great quotes in that section as well. But I think that whole series of bits can be studied because there was so much tucked into it.
oh yeah,
It was a wonderful, flashback, wonderful, and I mean the title that we gave it is perfect. The final lesson, just brilliantly done, gorgeous to witness. Great technology where you'd see Anakin in one form, and at the snap of a fingers he would be dressed as Darth Vader. It was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And Zoe and I lucked out and got to see that in the theater as well. That's when they did that one episode in the theater.
That's where you got to hang out with Mrs. Filoni.
Yeah. We got to see Anne when we were seeing that. But yeah, so here we go. Drum roll, please. And the best, just from from talking to our academy, it goes to Paz Vizsla's heroic sacrifice. I mean, there's a character that from the beginning of it we kind of hated because he was kind of a jerk, towards Mando, and then he tried to take the Darksaber. It was such a neat thing, and it's a good lesson to people that people can change and this and that. And then he just that battle was, and that was very Lord of the Rings-ish when Boromir was fighting the orcs trying to save Merry and Pippin.
Mm-hmm.
It felt very like that. Like he knew he wasn't going to make it, but he was going to make it that the other people could make it.
Well, especially when you add to the mix of him standing up and saying, "We have to help."
Yes.
I didn't agree with this guy. I didn't always see eye to eye with this guy. I've fought with this guy, and based on our creed, based on our honor, based on our heritage as Mandalorians, we have to do this thing. And
Yes.
he gave the paid the ultimate sacrifice of giving his life so that others could be saved.
Yeah. All right. After that sad scene, what's our next one?
Well, ours next one is going to probably be a surprise to folks.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time talking about how much we enjoy Star Wars, and this particular category is sponsored by the Rambling Star Wars Fan. And for those of you that haven't been paying attention, I'm the host of the Rambling Star Wars Fan, and I brag about being a member of the I Love Star Wars Club. And so this category is going to make a bunch of you chuckle, or at least we hope it makes a bunch of you chuckle. This category for 2023 is the Fake Fan Quote of the Year. Let me put it out there for you. These are quotes that have come from folks who are less than enthusiastic about Star Wars. And so let's read through the nominees this year. We've got "I'm so tired of Disney's woke Star Wars." Next nominee is "Nobody asked for this," and that has been said about a variety of Star Wars things in the past, and 2023 was no exception. We also have someone who said, "I hate people who like The Last Jedi." So very specific. It's the people who dislike that one movie. And then Kathleen Kennedy ruined my childhood. Those are the nominees for 2023's Fake Fan Quote of the Year. And are any of them ones that tickle your funny bone when you hear me read them out loud?
Well, they all do. The hating the people from The Last Jedi, it just, I think what all of these make me laugh is there is so many things in life that you get to pick, and you can't, that you can't pick. You can't, but there are things you get to pick for enjoyment. If you have such animosity towards something, then do something else. That's my main thing with this. And I just find it odd that people spend their time doing this. So
yeah. Looks like Josh got ahead of me. The Kathleen Kennedy ruined my childhood is my absolute favorite. Yes, because Kathleen Kennedy went out of her way to make sure that the things that you enjoyed as a child, you can no longer enjoy them.
Which, look up her producing credits, because pretty much anything you love from the 80s, she probably produced. I hate to tell people. So, but we just did this as fun. It's kind of picking on the people that spend more time being negative, and we're not trying to hurt their feelings any more than they're already hurt. But we do this every week because we love Star Wars, and we hope it shows in the stuff we do. We're all dressed up on a Wednesday night, sitting in front of a monitor doing a fake award show.
Hold on.
Okay.
Fake award.
No.
We're doing this right now.
Okay.
Yeah, this is
now.
We're not actors. We're doing Mike, an award show.
We do this every Wednesday because we want to ruin your childhood, and
yes.
We don't care if you asked for this or not.
So,
but Ken, what is the Fake Fan Quote of the Year this year?
For 2023's Fake Fan Quote of the Year, very specific, and that's "I hate people who like The Last Jedi." Sadly, I mentioned earlier that we're not sending out actual Golden TaunTauns, and I think that the person wouldn't want it anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep that Golden TaunTaun for this quote and put it on my own shelf.
But again, we're just here. We're just having a little fun at the expense of people that spend their whole time making other Star Wars fans feel bad. So but this was a fun category to break it up after, a sacrificial death of a Mandalorian.
And we already have some quotes in the hopper for 2024's awards.
It doesn't take long to get some quotes, that's for sure. So,
and we're only 3 months in, so
yeah.
Yeah, I can tell whoever designed this graphic had a lot of fun putting it together. So.
Yeah, look into that graphic and you'll get it. Don't. It'll just put you down a rabbit hole of terrible, mean people.
Yeah, but let's bring the spirits up a little, because this next award is brought to you by the Han Solo Chronicles, something that all three of us have had a hand in one way or the other. but it is my distinct honor, and I am so glad that I am going to be the one to present this award. But this next award is the Ken Nightingale Award. Now, Ken Bishop, you pulled off the incredible.
Literally pulled off.
You literally pulled off the incredible with this. I'm so glad that you are boom boom in the pink shorts, and we have so many photos to go through to see you in this one. And I'm just gonna go to the winner's screen here. Is he rocking the pink shorts?
There we go. So Ken, give us some of your.
Oh, there it is.
Ken, give us some of your knowledge about this, so people don't think you're just some weirdo that runs around in pink shorts.
So the story behind this is in the original movie, New Hope. A gentleman by the name of Ken Nightingale, who happened to be a boom mic operator. He was captured in a behind-the-scenes picture holding a large boom microphone, no shirt, and tiny, tiny, tiny pink shorts. And so he became known as Pink Shorts Boom Guy. And so I decided that when we got together for this year's filming of the Han Solo Chronicles, it only made sense that Ken showed up in pink shorts because I'm the boom mic operator sometimes for the Han Solo Chronicles. So I really, really, really appreciate the honor of winning the 2023 Ken Nightingale Award.
And we're filming the first scene, and I'm yelling, "Ken, pull down your pants!" I'm sure some of the hikers were probably like, "What is going on here?"
I love the picture of Marty and Chewie just looking at you so disappointed with your pants around your ankles as you're holding the boom arm.
Well, Mike, tell the audience what Heather sent to you, what she said to you when you sent her the picture from set.
No, you have to. What'd she say?
She said, "Tell my husband to pull up his damn pants."
And then I did a whole series of Ken and his shorts there on social media for a little while. So again, if you don't think we're having fun with this I don't know what else we can do.
Yeah, don't worry, Mike. We just gave you some more content to use for your TikTok there.
Yeah.
But Mike, I'm really looking forward to this next one. If you want to,
okay. Wait a minute. Is it the most anticipated?
It sure is the most anticipated.
So this is the only 2024 category in our 2023 year. It's what we're most anticipating, and it's Tales of the Jedi Season 2, Bad Batch Season 3, which we discussed this before. The Academy discussed this way before the Bad Batch had started. Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte. So this is the stuff coming out. Do you guys have anything else to say about this? Like,
the only thing I've got to say is it's so exciting to be a Star Wars fan with all four of these projects.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've seen, we're 5 episodes into the Bad Batch, and it's exceeded every expectation.
Right. Ken.
Well, let's go back in time a little bit, because there were years where we didn't have a single anticipated project to talk about.
Right,
and the fact
right.
that we have the ability to say these four things, at least these four things, are coming out this year is really, really exciting. And this stuff here on the screen spreads the gamut from the newer old stuff to the future stuff. Is just so wonderful. The fact that, and I think John said it best, it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan.
Right. And the winner of this one is the Acolyte. John, did you get to see the trailer at London?
I did.
The trailer's ridiculous. Like it's just going to be good. And the more I hear about it, like I'm still looking forward. The Skeleton Crew is another one that I'm really looking forward to. But the Acolyte is one of those things. I think it's going to change how we see Star Wars, similar to those that are comic book people when Venom first showed up. And you had this villain that then all of a sudden you got to see in early Venom. I know Venom now isn't the same way, but early Venom in the 80s, you actually got to see it from a different point of view. And I think this is going to be very similar to that.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Eunice as the Wookiee Jedi, who I have no idea what his name is.
Yeah.
I'm sure Zoe will correct me.
Probably, but because I was looking at that, I was like, yeah, that could be it. That could be a relatively easy Wookiee costume because you'd only have to knit the arms and the legs, and the head.
Yeah, that little top knot that he's got going on though, that's gonna be fun.
Well, if you've ever seen Marty's Wookiees before he trims the hair, there's a lot of you have to trim it off. It's pretty easy it'd be pretty easy to keep that because his are really long and then he cuts it. So
yeah,
but yeah, that's awesome. So all right, we're down to
the last 5.
Not last 5. Guess is this? Well, I'm on that. That's not me.
Yeah, this is my turn. So
yeah, sorry, Ken. Almost stepped on your toes.
So we've been getting together, the 3 of us, for John said earlier, we've been getting together for over 2 years, and we've been lucky enough to have a handful of folks come on, be brave enough to join us on the Inflatable Falcon, and the 4 nominees for Best Guest of 2023 are David Heiss, if I'm pronouncing that right, from the 501st in Ohio. Matt Mickelson from the Han Solo Chronicles fame, Justin Taylor from Garrison Corita in the 501st in Pennsylvania, and John 1, or Big John, or Papa John, as some people like to call him. And so I think I was on every one of these episodes. It was the David Heiss one is the one that we had without Mike. Mike was he had abandoned us for a week.
I had to do school.
Well, you can describe it any way you want. That's fine. We
how
know how
dare you better your career?
Yeah.
And do something in the real world instead of this fantasy.
Oh, this is way better than doing the real world stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, you popped in for the end of it.
I did.
Yeah, you made it to the end of the interview.
It was like I think it might have been one of our longer ones.
But they were also every one of these guests were another. It's an extension of why we like Star Wars so much, because they all come from different backgrounds. I mean, I guess even Matt's a costumer now. They're all costumers. Matt's probably he's like the costumer for the movies, but everyone else is in a costuming group.
Is that cosplay light?
Yeah, cosplay just sounds old. It sounds weird coming to to say I'm a cosplayer at my age. I just like to say I wear costumes. Like I feel like I'm not an angsty androgynous teenager. Like that's just what comes to mind when I hear cosplay. Like I should have cat ears on or something. I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't want to offend all my cosplayer people, but no, I mean, it was just nice to see, that.
And one of the other cool things about this isn't just random costumers or, these are also people that I would go so far as to say they're extensions of the show, they're friends, their family. And it's really nice to be able to connect with them about the show, to connect with them about what their interests are, connect with them about whatever projects are that they're working on, and to be a part of that is really exciting and wonderful to be involved with. And the winner for this year's 2023 Guest of the Year, the Golden TaunTaun, goes to Justin Taylor, who just recently got reelected as the CO, XO?
Yes, CO.
HO?
Yeah, CO.
CO.
Whatever the highest one is in the category.
Okay.
He just CO, because XO is like second, I think. Because I was XO at one point. Yes, CO. Yeah,
and even with all the hiccups that we had with his audio, and he still came back. I think we actually had him on the show several times in 2020.
Yeah, he's stuck on it, man. That was good.
Yeah,
and he's
all great guests, all fantastic conversations. But Justin, I think Justin edges this one out just because he really, like you guys said, he stuck through it. He made sure he made his appearances count.
Yeah. All right, where are we at?
That brings us to best character. Now, I mean, Star Wars is filled with great characters, but these 4 are by far some of the best. You've got Din Djarin from The Mandalorian, of course, Ahsoka from Ahsoka, Tech, and Kelleran Beck. We've talked about all 4 of these characters so far tonight, and I think it is time that we we give them their credit, and we give the nominees here. We talk a little bit about them and how impactful they are to each of their respective shows.
Let's start off with Tech, because I think Tech is one of those characters.
We had pick for Zoe.
He's a clone. We know this part, and clone by its very nature is meant to be one of many. One of many could, hard to distinguish one from the other. However, Tech was also a member of the Bad Batch, so he had special qualities that made him stand out, both physically, and his skill sets were different. And I think there was one episode with him and Omega where they were talking about loss. They were talking about emotions that they were experiencing. And Tech said to Omega something to the effect of, just because I experience emotions differently than you doesn't mean that I don't experience them. So it was really powerful to see an exchange like that in a cartoon.
Yeah.
From a clone who's meant to be, like everybody else, and is truly not.
Yeah, and I feel like with Tech, I also think there's a lot of people that might have identified a little bit with Tech, and probably in real life, he's probably more identifiable to the average person than the other people, and he just had a different skill set and he dealt with things differently. So, and then Amando, I think I said this when the Academy was voting. I forget how much I love the Mandalorian character until I see him on screen again. Like it's just he is etched. As Zoe said, why wasn't Sabine on here? It's just mainly because we had to will it down to 4 people. But yeah,
from a clone who's meant to be, like everybody else, and is truly not.
Yeah, and I feel like with Tech, I also think there's a lot of people that might have identified a little bit with Tech, and probably in real life, he's probably more identifiable to the average person than the other people, and he just had a different skill set and he dealt with things differently. So, and then Amando, I think I said this when the Academy was voting. I forget how much I love the Mandalorian character until I see him on screen again. Like it's just he is etched. As Zoe said, why wasn't Sabine on here? It's just mainly because we had to will it down to 4 people. But every time I see him on screen, it doesn't matter. I just remember how awesome he is.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka. Go ahead. I'm sorry, John.
I was going to say we already talked about Kelleran Beck and how in only a few short scenes he was just one of the most memorable characters of the year. Yeah. And this is mildly off topic, but it's so nice to see that if you see any of the Lego leaks from here and there, we are going to be getting a Kelleran Beck minifigure at some point this year.
Yeah.
Hello.
So.
Well, and Ahsoka. So Ahsoka was a hard one for me to go to live action, and probably that's probably why we didn't get Sabine as much, because I still got all these years of Sabine in cartoon. But when Ahsoka was fighting in the shipyard, is when the switch flipped to me. Like that's when I was like, okay, she's Ahsoka to me now. Like I don't know why it was that scene, but it took me a little while to warm up to the live action. I'm sorry, Ahsoka, to warm up to the live action Ahsoka.
One of the things I liked most about Ahsoka was we got to see in just a handful of episodes, a change, growth, development, where we saw her at first and she was a little bit reserved and holding back. And at the same time, judging of Sabine. And then she had a very traumatic experience and came back as Ahsoka the White. Had time to reflect, had time to think, had time to free herself from burdens of her own creation. And it was so I think that's one of the reasons why some of the Academy members put Ahsoka on the list.
So give us the winner.
You knew it. You knew who it was going to be. Of course, it's the Mandalorian. I think Mike speaks for all of us when he says that you forget how much you love him until you see him.
Yeah.
So and seeing a lot of the growth that Din went through in season 3 was incredible. And just at the end to see him adopt Grogu so he could officially take him on as his apprentice, that was that one filled my heart with joy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and we could even go so far as to say that this character means so much to the three of us that each of us wants to costume as this character.
Yep. John already has one, and Ken and I have one in the works. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, so it's you don't dress up like someone that you don't like, you don't appreciate, unless you're being forced to, or paid big sums of money to, or whatever. But
yeah, that's awesome. All right, what's our next? We're getting near. We got their actors. So our actors of this year: Bradley Baker for the Bad Batch. Just pick any one of them. Lars Mikkelsen for
Luthen Rail.
Yeah.
Or no, Thrawn. Sorry.
Whoa.
Thrawn.
Whoa.
Hayden Christensen for Anakin, and then Jack Black for Bombardier from. And this again, like people are going to say, why didn't you pick this person? This person. There, like, I don't think there was any bad acting in the Star Wars shows. I really don't. I mean, at least this year.
Well, Hugh Yang was a little stiff.
Yeah. But that could have just been his programming.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like Bradley Baker, to see him talk in all the voices at once. The closest I've come, I've seen him do it on stage, but the closest I've come is when we were recording Shakespeare, and we had, who was it?
Was it Marcus?
Yeah, Marcus. That's right. We had Marcus he was talking to himself as Obi-Wan and C-3PO. So if you ever listen to that on Creedcast, it's amazing what voice actors can do. And Jack Black's one of those people where you're like, am I just going to see Jack Black? I didn't see Jack Black when he was on the show. I saw him as what a pompous old Imperial would do, And Hayden Christensen, he not only did justice to his live action, he also did justice to the animated stuff that he wasn't even involved in. And then Thrawn, I mean, I'm still curious how much is blue makeup and how much is after. That's what I want to know. Does he wear blue makeup, or does
like CGI kind of stuff?
Is it all just CGI?
Yeah. Hopefully we get a gallery series soon.
Yeah. So the winner of this one, this might make some people happy. Our fans have either fallen asleep or quit chatting. So I don't know if they're just trying to speed us along. But our best
Don't encourage them.
Our best actor is Lars Mikkelsen so we have Thrawn. I mean, I don't know if I could think of anyone else who could do Thrawn now. So
yeah, Lars Mikkelsen is when you picture Thrawn, you can hear this photo.
Yes.
So that is definitely a credit to the job that he did as Thrawn.
Yes.
And as we said earlier, we get more of him. So that's real exciting.
Yeah.
Well, with every actor, you got to have an actress. Ken.
Yes. And this particular category is sponsored by Star Wars Geek Girl. They've, Zoe and Lizzie have been doing podcasts for a long time and have been kind enough to sponsor this category for everybody. And the 4 nominees for the 2023 Golden TaunTaun are Lizzo, and I apologize ahead of time, is Natasha Lou Bordizzo. Please don't be upset with me if I've mispronounced that. Michelle Ong and Katie Sackhoff. So we have we have a person who was in animation and went to live action, and 2 live action actresses. And I think that's one of the exciting things about our choice this year is we've been able to pick both animated actors and actresses as well as live action. It's not one or the other. We've been able to blend them together.
And again, all of these are good. I mean, like it's not like if you're not the winner, we thought you were bad. You know, it was hard enough to come up with just 4.
And I think maybe for next year, if we want to make our show longer, what we could do are animated actors and animated actresses.
Well, yeah, maybe we'll have to have the golden tauntauns, and then what's an animated color of gold? Like we would have the whatever the pixel number, whatever the hex code is, tauntauns. for you know, hey, there's some people who are still awake, so
Still got some people.
yeah, so some is still awake.
Yeah, these are all great actresses. Ken, who is the best actress?
In terms of best actress, the Academy, drumroll please, chose Michelle Ong for her portrayal of Omega in The Bad Batch. So to be able to have an adult person perform as a child in an animated series and make it believable, we thought was quite remarkable. And to be able to display growth without actually being able to see the person's face, only their voice, we thought was quite remarkable. And that's why Michelle will be taking home or being awarded this year's Golden TaunTaun.
Does
for
second
Best
place get a
Actress.
silver tauntaun? Is there a silver, bronze, and something else?
Well, should we next year should we give out Beskar Tauntauns?
Yeah, there we go.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's some other podcast will take over the and it'll be the best card tauntauns, and we'll be
Or should it be a lesser creature? So if you win the award, you get the Golden TaunTaun. If you're second place, you get the Golden Luca
Womp rat?
Hound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think this one whittles. You could whittle it down to one scene, and we already talked about it. It's when Omega and Tech are talking about loss. I mean, the emotion portrayed in that one scene was just incredible.
Yeah.
So, but it all comes down to these last 2.
Yes.
Episode of the year. Again, we had so many episodes of Star Wars shows this year. And I've said it for almost everything that I've presented so far. It's hard to whittle these down to 4. But you've got Shadow Warrior of Ahsoka, which was season 1, episode 5. The Solitary Clone, Bad Batch season 2, episode 3. The Spies, The Mandalorian season 3, episode 7. And Owl's Song, our first Visions nomination. Visions season 2, episode 9. So...
And this was tough because like Visions was always on our mind for a lot of the categories. But the Vision stuff was neat. The Solitary Clone was it's when I had it changed my opinion of Crosshair. So yeah,
Shadow Warrior, I mean, we said it earlier. It that was just, again, for my generation, that was the culmination of everything that we had seen in animation making the jump to live action, and seeing Anakin and Ahsoka and Rex and all of these different characters that we've really only ever seen in animation for the most part. Seeing them in live action was just unbelievable.
Actually, that word you picked, unbelievable, and I'm curious, with that scene, did you feel like it was believable? Like, did you feel like that what they showed in live action didn't seem cartoony? You couldn't tell that it was, green screen or whatever. Like, was it so unbelievable that it was believable, that it looked real?
Yes, the VFX, and I think next year we need to have a VFX Golden TaunTaun.
Yeah.
I think that one got snubbed off the list a little bit by the Academy, so we'll have to regroup for next year. But yeah, they did an incredible job. There was no point in that where I was like, "Oh, that looks fake. That looks bad." It was just top to bottom polished.
Yeah, it was. Well, it's funny because I've seen a lot of Anakin cosplayers that I've thought were good for Clone Wars cosplayers, and they went above and beyond with his costume. Like, they could have just easily, hey, let's just look at the CRL and make one like that. It was like it looked so much like the animated stuff, but it looked live action. So yeah, it was good.
So who gets the award this year for
All right.
episode of the year?
This year, it goes to The Spies, Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 7. And I think the Academy may have had a tinge of bias when it came to selecting this winner, because I believe some of the members of the Academy were able to see this early
Yes.
at Celebration with
Yes.
thousands of other Star Wars fans. But bias aside, this just was an incredible episode.
Yeah.
We already talked about Paz Vizsla's sacrifice at the end, and the return of Moff Gideon, and that giant Mandalorian skimmer with
yes.
with the last remaining Mandalorians on the planet.
Yeah. I mean, that again, it was hard to choose, but yeah, seeing all of that. And again, the Mandalorian, I know some people didn't like the newest season, but I just more Mandos on screen is always good. And I'm not even a Mando merc, so.
So what would your feelings be if for every show, whether it's animated or live action, if Disney made a couple episodes, like for instance, Bad Batch, we talked about it, that Bad Batch season 3 has started and the first 3 episodes premiered together. What would your feelings be about having one thing from each show, whether it's animated or live action, be a theatrical
Yes.
release where you get to see it with, like you're saying, hundreds of other fans on a giant screen with incredible sound?
100%. I would
Yeah.
go every show, every Star Wars show, even I don't care. Young Jedi Adventures. I 100% agree with that, Ken, because like it makes it better.
It's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah.
Watching it at home is great, but you don't get that shared experience.
Well, and also we live in a world where we're distracted. Because you and I we're all looking at monitors. People are watching our show, probably have the TV on and their phone on or whatever. When you go to a theater, you have to focus on 2 things. When are you going to pee? And what's on the screen? That's it. That's all you have to focus on. And I like we saw, and I've said this on our show before, we saw the Book of Boba Fett premiere. We rented a movie theater with a bunch of friends. And that was awesome. It was just, and I hope that they would do a model like that. Like, just, I mean, what's it hurt?
Right? It's Star Wars. It's one of, if not the largest IP in the world.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see it with Marvel. Marvel has shows do the same thing. I mean, we're not a Marvel show here, but there can be the inflatable Spider-Man podcast maybe someday. Spider-Man Bounce House or something. I don't know.
The inflatable web?
Yeah, inflatable. There is Magic Jump, again, that makes the inflatable Falcon. Is they have Spider-Man stuff. Which brings us to our last thing, right?
This is the last thing. Mike, you open the show. You're going to close us out here.
Project of the year. Okay, so this is 2023, the year, the overall project that we liked from start to finish. Ahsoka season 1, Mando season 3, Bad Batch season 2, and Visions season. Is that 2?
2.
Okay, yeah, okay. So all of these had highs and lows. I know for myself, I like them all. Probably Ahsoka had more characters with Sabine and stuff like that I was excited to see. But then again, as soon as I see Mando in armor, I'm all Mando. So
yeah, and I know I've said this before, but The Mandalorian was the show that really, because like I've always been a Star Wars fan, but The Mandalorian really just kicked that fandom into high gear when it came out, and every season it seems to reignite that love of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well, and this year we got more Mandalorian than we'd ever seen on a screen at one time.
Right.
I think there was a point where there was like 40 or 50 Mandalorians on. And Visions is, I think, a fantastic example of what comes from Star Wars. So when Star Wars came out in the late 70s, there's nothing like it. It literally and figuratively changed the world, and Visions is a fantastic extension of that. It's
Yeah.
animators from around the world that are they've taken nuggets of inspiration and have created something new that could very easily sit in the Star Wars universe.
Yep.
And they've done it in a variety of animation styles, whether it's stop motion puppets or you know, computer generated animation. And I'm so glad that we're getting another season of it.
Yeah. Well, and even Bad Batch. Bad Batch is one of those shows I didn't know I wanted until I saw it.
Yep.
And it reminded me of how much I love the Clone Wars. I mean, I like it too, but there's that style that it has. Again, that was a new style. That was Visions when Visions wasn't a thing. Like when you first saw it, took a little adjustment when Clone Wars came out, and then the Bad Batch. I mean, for me, the Bad Batch was those animatics that they put online, those wire animatics that when Clone Wars was canceled, and you had to find them online and watch them. So let's, without further ado, we're going to end this. Our final category, Project of the Year, voted by our Academy, is Ahsoka. I think Ahsoka, at least from my opinion, just gave me more of it gave me Clone Wars flashbacks. It gave me Rebels flashbacks. It gave me Ahsoka. It gave me Purgles. You know, like, I don't think I could have asked for any more. So.
Yeah, and I've been very vocal that I did not care for the first 4 episodes of Ahsoka while they were airing, but the last 4 really blew me away.
Yeah.
I mean, those last 4 episodes, for everything that I didn't like in the first 4, the last 4 made up for all of that.
Yeah.
And it made me appreciate those first 4 in that journey more.
Are we going to have quotes about you and the first 4 in next? No, I'm just kidding. I can't stand anyone that liked the first 4. No. Yeah. I mean, that's Ahsoka was it just brought so much. It brought new villains. It brought old favorites. It brought some of the, I heard more people saying they were going back to watch certain things of the Clone Wars and Rebels because of that show, which to me makes it a good show. If your show makes people search out the source material, then that's a good show to me. So that is our Golden TaunTauns.
Well,
right?
Actually,
hold the mic with that. So
yeah, hold on one moment.
We have something else up our proverbial sleeves.
Okay.
So for those of you that have never hung out with us before, we want to acknowledge a couple truths here. This show, The Inflatable Falcon, came into existence because of the work of one guy.
George Lucas.
Well, he inspired the one guy I'm talking about. Mike, you asked John and I to get on with you a few years ago to test out some things. And so the last category that we're ending tonight is the 2023 Host of the Year. So John, do you want to read off the nominees, please?
There's only one. It's the one and only Mike Hinton. And Mike, I know we've said this a couple times tonight, but I do actually have something for you. The one and only Golden TaunTaun Award.
Oh my God.
And I will say, there was a lot of unique thought that went into designing this. However, I did put 2024 on there if you could see it.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But I wanted to do something that specifically invoked everything that we all hold dear. So for the model of the Tauntaun, I went with a low poly design to show our appreciation for 3D printing and where 3D printing started in the low poly. So that is your official Host of the Year, Golden TaunTaun.
Thank you I'm speechless for once. Well, not for long. I'm sure I'll start blabbing soon. No, I appreciate it. And honestly, this show is equal parts, and I feel like sometimes I'm just showing up to turn on the screen. John does all the behind the scenes for this show, and Ken is always there. Ken keeps us on track. Your guys are good friends. I'm so happy that we get to do this every Wednesday. And for those that are listening, I mean, we still have 10 people listening. If you're thinking of doing something, try it. Because I guarantee if you would have interviewed all three of us a little more than 2 years ago, we would have all said we're way too busy to take one night out of our week to talk with friends about Star Wars.
Oh, I think we can do better than that. If they're interested in doing it, they should just do it, because there is no try.
Yes. And listen, those listening, please like, share, subscribe, give us to other people. But we don't do it for any of that. We like, if we have one person, we hope that we give the same amount of energy that if we were one of those podcasts that had hundreds of people. We'll be just as unprepared if we had hundreds of people. And but we do appreciate the fandom and what they do for us. And if there is anything, I know I try to help as many people as I possibly can, and both John and Ken are the same way. If we can help you in any way, let us know. If you're interested in costuming, none of us claim to be experts, but if you put us all together, we can throw a costume together, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And we are still going to have our comment. Just because you got me a trophy, it's not going to stop me from trying to have this open mic comedy episode. It's going to happen. So,
all right, I'll concede on that one.
But I appreciate that award. That honestly, it makes me feel good. So, but again, I mean, I can't thank you guys enough. I mean, we did our first award show. Now we got to start getting ready for the next one.
We did our first award show. We had viewers and listeners chatting in the whole time.
Yes.
So Zoe, Josh, Heather, Danielle, General Beers, thank you for putting up with our shenanigans for over 2 hours.
Yeah, this is now, and we've been good about sticking around the hour mark. Relatively good.
Yeah, this is a special occasion. This is the Golden TaunTaun.
We dressed up for this.
Yeah. I mean,
I wore pink shorts and everything.
I still have my pug shirt underneath, though.
That's 5. That's 5. That's the magic number.
We got 5. We got 5. So if you're checking at home for Ken's favorite author mentions, it is 5. We started on time. So is Josh still awake or alive? I was wondering what his end count was. And Zoe got me this shirt. So wardrobe provided by Star Wars Geek Girl. Because I still have shirts that I wear that, if you look at baby pictures of Zoe and Safi, I was wearing then as well. So, and my kids are in their 20s. So I don't keep up on my clothes. Don't be confused with M count. But we it's in podcasting, it's P count for podcasting ability. No, I'm just kidding. So
you went somewhere else with that. Thank you.
Yeah,
I know. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, "Oh yeah, we're live."
Yep. There's nothing between here and here. Sometimes,
it
happens.
But any closing thoughts, gentlemen?
I'm so excited that we pulled this off, and I already have ideas for 2024's awards.
Yeah, and you know what? We'll probably wait till 2 weeks before.
Yep,
of course. Why wouldn't we?
Oh, and Ken's wardrobe is provided by Heather Bishop.
Yes. The other Star Wars geek girl.
Yes.
By association.
My wardrobe is provided by Kohl's.
There we go. See? So
But,
John always outdoes us, so we have to
look, my only thought for tonight is, Mike, I know first off, I had to throw your blue steel photo into that graphic there. But none of this would be possible without you. Thank you for wanting to test this software back in February of 2022.
And Zoe's only used it once.
Yep. So, but yeah, these last 2 years, I have been so fun and so exciting. Just getting to chat with you guys every week. It's been incredible. And I'm glad that this show was the I almost want to call it the culmination of that, but it's been great.
Yeah. So yeah, it has been for me too. I mean, again, I mean, we don't want to go too sappy because then it sounds like we're closing the show down. But yeah, so
It was
those
a good
watching,
run. See you later.
yeah, those watching, please like, subscribe, pass this on to a friend. Even if you just if they like Star Wars, we don't do it for subscribers, but we're trying.
And if you want to pass it on to someone you don't like as
Yeah,
some sort
yeah.
of weird punishment,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
You can say,
too.
look at these weirdos. You think you're weird? Watch this. So it will be on YouTube. It'll be on Spotify. It won't be on tonight. I had this master plan of having it ready to go as soon as we were done here, and since we went over 2 hours, it makes the rendering way longer. But you get to enjoy our final stylings of. We never did get an end count of Josh, so I have to hit him up at work. He probably went to bed. But let me.
If he was over 50%, we'll count it as a win.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
There are a few curveballs in there.
And if there's anyone out there that wants to be an executive producer of next year's show, that hey, let us know. We will gladly take the
There's
help.
only one boom boom though. We got to keep that.
Well,
only
yes,
one.
yes. Certain awards have to stick.
Yeah.
But thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everyone that watched. And we are out. The first annual
Golden TaunTaun.